If you want to know how to parse JSON documents in your C programs, this video tutorial is for you. There are many different JSON parsing libraries available for the C programming language. I have ever loved using JSON-C, primarily because its functions are so easy and intuitive. This library is available through the package managers of most Linux distributions, so installing it usually involves just one command. For example, if you want to install it on Ubuntu, all you need to do is run sudo apt install libjson-c dev. As you can see here, the size of this library too is very small. Alright, let's start by creating a simple JSON document which we can parse. I'll call it test.json. I'm gonna add 3 different keys to this. The first key will be name, whose value will be a string. The next key is age, which will be an integer. And the last key will be friends, which will be an array of strings. I'm going to have 3 strings here. I think this is good enough because it has all the 3 most commonly used data types. So if you learn how to parse this JSON document, you should have no trouble parsing any other JSON document you can get your hands on. Let's start writing the C program now. I'll call it test.c. Here we'll include the usual stdio.h. Next, include JSON-C/JSON.h. This is the header you will need to get access to all the functions the JSON-C library offers. Okay, now we'll create the main function. Time to declare a few variables. First, we will need a file pointer so we can open the JSON file. Then we will need a character buffer. This is of course to store the contents of the JSON file. I'm going to allocate 1024 bytes to it. Next, we will need a JSON object structure to store the parsed JSON. This structure will hold the entire JSON document. We will need similar structures for all the fields in the JSON document too. So we will need one for the name, one for the age, and one for the friends. We will also need one JSON object to temporarily store each item in the friends array. To make our code easier to read, let's also have a variable to store the size of the friends array. And lastly, we will need a variable that can serve as a counter in a for loop. Okay, let's open the JSON file now. So call the fopen function and pass the name of the JSON file to it. Next, call the fread function to read the file and put its contents into the buffer. At this point, we don't need to keep the file open anymore, so call fclose to close it. And now, to parse the JSON file's contents and convert them into a JSON object, all we need to do is call the JSON tokener parse function and pass the character buffer to it. To get the value of a key in your JSON objects, you must call the JSON object getX function. To this function, you must pass the JSON object, the name of the key you are interested in, and where you want to store its value. So this takes care of the name key. We will have to call the function again for the age, and again for the friends array. It's worth appreciating the fact that this same function helps you read strings, numbers, and arrays. But you must also remember that everything it reads is turned into a new JSON object. Let us now see how we can use these new JSON objects. First, let's try to print the name. It is a string, so we will have to use %s here. To convert the JSON object for the name into a string, you must simply pass it to the JSON object getString function. Similarly, to convert the JSON object for the age into an integer, you must call the JSON object getInt function. So easy, isn't it? Now let's try looking at the array of friends. To get the length of the array, you will call the JSON object arrayLength function. I'm just going to print this number now. Alright, now create a simple for loop to count from 0 to the length of the array. Here, to get a reference to the current item in the array, you must call the JSON object array getIndex function and pass the current index to it. I'm going to print it along with the current index. So here, I'll have %lu for the index and %s for the string. And now, as you might have guessed, you must call the JSON object getString function again. Our program is ready. In just a few lines of code, we have managed to read the entire JSON document. Let me now show you how to compile this program. So I'll use gcc and pass the name of my C file to it. Next, use the -l flag to let the compiler know that you're using the JSON-C library. And optionally use the -o flag to specify the name of your executable. Okay, the program seems to have no compilation errors, so let's try running it. Perfect. You now know how to parse JSON in C programs. To learn more about the JSON-C library, you can refer to its documentation. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would also be really happy if you were to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.